What really happens in the second after a crash so severe that a luxury car disappears into river and the driver simply vanishes into the night? And why does a single moment on a New Jersey bridge suddenly turn into a multi-layered investigation which is involving injuries, pursuit and unanswered questions? In the early hours of Route 80 on the Hackensack River bridge, a BMW collided with a Land Rover in what authorities are calling it a serious multi-vehicle crash. But that's not the only visible story where it begins, because what followed next is what turned this from an accident to a simply far more complex situation. The BMW didn't just crash, it struck a concrete barrier with enough force to break through the plunge directly into the river below. A vehicle swallowed by water within moments, and then leaving behind a confusion, chaos, and immediate emergency response. However, inside the other vehicle, the situation was less serious, but still very much to pay attention to that. Well, the Land Rover occupants sustained minor injuries and were rushed for the medical care. And yet, the driver of the submerged BMW was nowhere to be found. But instead of waiting for the first responders, the driver allegedly fled the scene on foot. A decision that immediately shifted the incident from a road accident to a manhunt-style search operation unfolding under the shadow of a nearby rail area. Now, make no mistakes here, that detail is what transformed the entire case. Authorities later identified the driver as 32-year-old Zorawar Escoli of the Englewood Cliffs. But the sequence that followed raises even more serious questions than answers. Why leave? What was unfolding in those critical minutes that after a crash, he decided to do that? However, the story has another turn. Police reports indicate that the driver was eventually located and taken into custody. Now, charges followed, including obstruction, resisting the arrest by flight, and then multiple motor vehicle arrested offences. But he was later released on the pending court proceedings. And yet, beneath the legal process, the broader uncertain things remained. Because when a vehicle ended up submerged in river and a driver chose to flee rather than stay, investigations are often left behind, reconstructing not just an incident but the intent, fear and seconds that no one fully witnessed. But there's a bigger picture to this, and a question that is still hanging in the air. Was this simply a high-impact crash that escalated in panic, or there is more to the moments before the car actually hit the barrier? For now, the officials continue to piece together the sequence, and the river, still and silent, holds only the version of events that no one can fully confirm yet. And that uncertainty is once again exactly hitting the point where the story doesn't end, because it begins.